Alright guys, instead of villains once again, just the way we did it with Superman's family, we are going to be doing this with the Bat family. What would different members of the Bat family look like as a particular lantern? Now, I kept it to 12 characters that we would go through, and obviously Batman is going to be one of them. Let's actually start with Batman, which I have 3 options for him. We've seen Batman in the comic books be lanterns before. We've seen so many of the most popular DC characters have their shot at having some sort of ring in the past. But these are the 3 rings I think Batman could be well suited for: green, yellow, and even white. Green is because of the willpower, and honestly, you're gonna see a lot of green belong to the Bat family in general, because I believe every single one of these characters need to have the willpower. Very often, when you are characters, when you are heroes who don't have powers and abilities, you're just human, you do have to have the most willpower of potentially any character out there, and Batman has that. I believe it's even been stated too that if Hal Jordan or say John Stewart was to die in the field of battle in a Justice League team, the first person the ring would go to is Batman, and it makes complete sense. I think there's even an argument to be made that Batman has more of a right to be a Green Lantern than potentially even Hal Jordan does. Then I went with yellow. I think that is self-explanatory. Then white, this idea that it's all emotions combined, but it's all complete control of the emotions. And I think there is a lot about Batman who does have control over a lot of his emotions. Even if he doesn't, over time he learns to come into control of them, or he learns how to battle the bad emotions, if you will. And I don't think it would be too far out there to picture Batman as a White Lantern. Although if I really had to choose, I actually think Batman would be a Green Lantern, even over a Yellow Lantern. His willpower is off the charts. He never stops. He never stays down. He just keeps doing and does what he believes to be true. Next, we have Alfred, and I also have 3 different options for him as well: blue, green, and actually Star Sapphire. Like I said, green is kind of the obvious one because all members of the Bat family would probably have some sort of green. Alfred does have a lot of willpower too. But the reason I went for blue is because I think he does have a lot of hope. He has this hope that one day Bruce might stop being Batman. This hope that one day he might do enough for this city to lay down the cape and cowl and to move on with his life. The hope that every person who enters this Bat family will one day realize, I don't need to be identified by this costume anymore. I don't need my life to be just about beating up criminals every single night, rinsing and repeat. Then I also have Star Sapphire for Alfred because of his love for Bruce Wayne and pretty much every single person that comes into the Bat family. And it's not even just so much about Bruce Wayne, it's even his love for Thomas and Martha, and that love has kept him going for Bruce and for other people to keep him along that right track. He would essentially do anything for Bruce. I think it would even be interesting to see a blue and a Star Sapphire combined together and what Alfred could actually do with it. Next is Commissioner Gordon, and I also have him as a Green Lantern. And I'm going to be honest with you here, unless I haven't seen it, but I am a little surprised there's never been some sort of comic book issue or Elseworld story of Commissioner Gordon getting his hands on a Green Lantern ring. He also screams willpower just as much as Batman. He never backs down, and he always keeps going and fighting for what he thinks is right. He, in my opinion, might even be a little more unwavered than Batman sometimes. Sometimes Gordon needs to keep Batman in line. Green is too perfect for Commissioner Gordon. I don't really think there's any other option for him. You could maybe consider Star Sapphire because of his love for his daughter, but I think Green is damn near perfect. I also think one of the biggest things we ignore about a lot of these Bat family characters is the fact that they are out all night, every night, doing this job. They're out there for hours on end and they don't come back until the sun is coming up. They gotta be feeling the pressure. They gotta be feeling very tired. Which reminds me, let's take a look at our sponsor. Whether you're trying to get an 8-hour sleep in to prep for the next day, you like taking naps, or you just like sleep in general, Manta Sleep masks are the way to go. These things are so comfortable that if I could, I would film every single one of my videos on this channel like this. This is 100% the best sleeping mask I've ever had in my life. There is zero eye pressure. It's super easy to sleep on your side, no uncomfortability at all. These masks let zero light in, so if a blackout sleep is what you need, you got it. Another fantastic addition to this eye mask are the Bluetooth speakers here located on the side of the mask, which helps you adjust where you want to listen to your music or relaxing soundscapes. And also too, the adjustable eye patches that do offer maximum comfortability depending on where you want to locate them. So guys, go to my description below and make sure to visit the website, and when you buy your product, use the discount code T.M.M for 10% off and get to sleeping. Now we have Dick Grayson, who I also have two options for him, and that would be green and blue. This is a character who I think could somehow be utilizing a green and a blue ring at the same time. Once again, for a lot of these characters, I don't really need to go into details on why they would be green. I think a lot of the Bat family is very self-explanatory. But for blue, I think Nightwing is potentially the most hopeful person in the Bat family. As Robin, I think he would be more so green, but when he grows up to being Nightwing, that is where the blue really kicks in. Even the fact that Nightwing has a very close relationship with Superman as well, being one of his favorite heroes and one of his greatest friends, and the fact that Nightwing comes from a lineage of Superman's homeworld, a lot of the hope that Superman can inspire is inspired through Nightwing. So I think blue is perfect for him. Next up is Barbara Gordon, and for her, I placed the same as her father, a Green Lantern ring. You could also say she would be well suited for a blue, and I could 100% see that, but I think green is just far too perfect for her. Like father, like daughter. Jim's personality is going to be a lot of Barbara's personality. The will to keep moving forward, the will to be Batgirl, the will to do what's right, and joining Batman in this never-ending war. After her terrible accident with the Joker, being paralyzed in a wheelchair is something that would take a lot of the spirit out of almost anybody. But she hypothetically got back up and kept moving forward. Next is Jason Todd, and the two options here are yellow and red. When he was younger as Robin, I don't necessarily think it was will that drove him. I don't think green would be a good fit. I think fear is what drove the boy. As a Robin, the yellow ring would have attracted to him. Even grown up as Red Hood, I still think yellow would call to him, but a lot of red too, because of how angry and rageful he becomes, not just to the world, but especially to Bruce. He has so much pent-up anger and emotions to the fact that Bruce never did anything after he died. He takes out his anger on anybody in front of him, but mainly Batman. I think it's another character who could potentially utilize both yellow and red at the same time, but as Robin, I think he's very drawn to yellow, and as Red Hood, he's very drawn to red. Now we have Tim Drake, who is my personal favorite Robin, and I also have two choices for him, green and yellow. He made this decision upon himself to become Robin. He clearly wanted to do something with this mantle, and he wanted to prove he was worthy of it. He wanted to prove that he had the willpower to do so. But I do think that yellow can really creep up in Tim Drake's life. Fear is something he might encounter throughout him being Robin into Red Robin. The fact that he loses his father to murder, this identity that he's built for himself, he's never capable of actually letting it go and forever going to be known as a Robin or this person he has become. I feel like the reason he goes from Robin to Red Robin is because he can't let go of that identity. He can't become something else. And usually when stuff like that happens, it is fear that is holding you down. Even in saying that, you could even consider him for an ultraviolet for a time being. That really kicks the shame out of him and what he's really experiencing. Now we have Cassandra Cain, who I also gave two, very similar to Tim Drake, green and yellow. Green, self-explanatory, we all know. But as for yellow, the reason why I did this is because I think she still carries a lot of weight from her mother and father. She does have a lot of fear when it comes to family life and when it comes to who and what she was before. Not belonging anywhere, not having anyone, essentially being homeless, very much like Jason Todd. I also think this built up idea that she has to be better than her mother and father, especially her father, and this idea that maybe she never will be if she's ever good enough. Is she worthy of that status? Is she even worthy of being part of a family like the Bat family? Does she belong there? I think there is a lot of fear that could play into a character like her. Next is Damian Wayne, my least favorite Robin, and because I don't really keep up to date with the character, I don't know what type of character Damian Wayne really is today, but from what I know Damian Wayne to be, I would peg him as yellow. Yeah, you could probably argue there's green in there, but I ain't gonna give him green. He's just a scary kid. He was trained by the League of Shadows. He's already one of the top deadliest assassins in the world at the age of 8 or 10 or however old he is. Even though I don't really like Damian Wayne, he is scary enough to make a grown man fearful of the child. Next up is Catwoman, and I know I had Catwoman for the Batman villains, and in that one I made her an orange. But Catwoman here, I'm looking at her as the more heroic presence, the one who is involved with Batman more. I threw her as Star Sapphire, and my main reason for that is because of her love for Batman, for Bruce Wayne. Even though sometimes their love is a little misplaced, it's a little sloppy, it's all over the place sometimes. One minute they're together, the next minute they're not. I do still believe truly at the end of the day, she is in love with Batman. Love can make you act out, it can make you a little bit jealous, it can make you do stupid things, and I still think that is why she would be perfectly fit for Star Sapphire. I also decided to put in Cain, Batwoman, for this list. I gave her green and ultraviolet. Green, once again, obvious, but you got to think about it from this perspective. She sees all these people around her being caped crusaders or costumed vigilantes or heroes of their states, and then she sees her cousin being Batman. The amount of willpower you need to have amongst yourself to say, I need to do this too, it's got to be pretty high. The reason why I have ultraviolet is because I do feel like a lot of the times Cain can have these emotions tied down and hidden. She doesn't really talk about them and express them. Often when emotions get too high or too intense, she does things to drown those emotions out and ignore them, never solving them. Fear could 100% be tied to her, but ultraviolet I think would be very fascinating to dig those emotions out of her to see how she really feels. What shame is she feeling that she's trying to hide so deep inside? Finally, guys, on this 12-person list, I actually decided to go with Lucius Fox. Would it probably be a little boring to see Lucius Fox utilizing a ring? Yeah, probably would. Would it be more exciting to see maybe his son use a ring? Yeah, but you know what? Lucius Fox has been a member of the Bat family for far too long. I needed to utilize him in a video. There are two options for him, green and Star Sapphire. Once again, the amount of willpower you have to join this insane crusade alongside Batman. A common good crusade, the right crusade, a crusade that gets things done and is trying to keep Gotham safe. Still a crazy crusade Absolutely. Yet Lucius still involves himself and still wants to be part of it. But I do also have Star Sapphire for Lucius because of that brotherly family type love he does have for Alfred and Bruce. The fact that he would do a lot for them, if not anything for them. And also the love he has for his sons. Although at the end of the day, if I had to choose between these two rings, I think it would be willpower that would call to Lucius a lot more. So guys, those are the 12 Bat family members I decided to deal with in this video. I know there are other Bat family members I could have used and I didn't put them in this video. I just didn't want to make the video far too long. So because of that, put in the comments below some characters I didn't use and let me know what colors you think they would be. But that is all I have for you on this video, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.